Good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another episode of the 343 podcast. It is episode 166. It just keeps going from strength to strength. I'm glad to be here. And like I said in the description, if you manage to check it out, I think this is the first time in a very, very long time that everybody on this call picked up 3 points over the weekend. So it's quite a phenomenal achievement for all of us to be coming off the back of a win. So I think we're going to have quite a positive show. And speaking of positive, let's start with AF, whose team has done some good things recently, especially the double over Liverpool. So AF, welcome. And how are you feeling?
Uh, the way I'm feeling about my team is great. The way I'm feeling about myself right now, not too great. Bit under the weather, but we push through, man. We push through for the podcast. We push through for the show. But yeah, could be better from that point of view.
You'll be all right, man. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. These are the trade-offs you make for your team to win. Then we'll go to the white side of North London, where Spurs have picked up a win also. So Riyaz, good to have you on after picking up 3 points as well. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm similar to AF. I mean, feeling it coming on now. It's all the cold weather. But other than that, I mean, it's been a while since we've won back-to-back. I don't know if we've won back-to-back all season, to be honest. But
He's going there straight off the bat.
The big guy, the big dog.
How does it feel?
It's been far between. It feels like we're still going down, but we'll get there, I guess.
We shall do so. And speaking of going down, we'll go in the opposite direction and go up
All the way
to
to
Jason Ronnie. I see you wearing that. Is it the goalkeeper kit, Gunners? Talk to me. How are you feeling
That is
after last
correct.
night, especially?
Yo, this has probably been, barring maybe the wedding week leading up to my own wedding, this has probably been the best week of my life so far. Uh, what
I
a
love that
win
you
over
had
the
to
weekend.
start it off that way. I love that
No. I
you had
said
to like
barring, man. So that
precede
was
it
the
with that
best week of
line.
my life. This is the second best week of my life.
Look,
This last 5 days has been, the emotions have been so wild and so all over the place. But yeah, last night definitely capping off a few good days. Fun fact, I think the last time all of us won was Christmas time. So
okay.
Man United beat Newcastle 1-0. We beat Brighton 2-1. And Spurs went away to Crystal Palace and won 1-0.
Lovely.
Surprising.
So yeah, that is the last time. So for that alone, that increases this week. Close, still not the best week of my life, but close.
All right, close enough. So good to hear that. And thank you for doing the research on the last time this all came together. So I appreciate you. A legend, the OG, as we say, and everyone in the chat watching the show live, welcome. We look forward to your comments. Engage with us, man. Talk to us. You want to hear, you want to read
Don't be
what we're
shy
saying,
now.
and we can bring it
Yeah,
up. Yeah,
please.
don't be shy. If your team also got 3 points, let us know. Let us know how you're feeling towards the end of the season, and what you have to play for still with a couple of weeks to go. Just to take you through the running, as they say, for the episode, or the outline for the episode today. We're going to start at do I want to start at the bottom or the top? I think let's start at the top. We'll start at the top and work our way down. We'll make
Both
Riyaz
of it
wait a
goes
little.
hand in hand, doesn't it?
No, definitely. We'll dovetail between it, but we're going to talk about the title race and where it stands after this weekend's results. We're going to take a look at the race for the Champions League spots. Three have been wrapped up already. A little bit about Europe, the rest of the spots that are available. I think it's very interesting that each European competition has an English team who can win it. We'll touch on that as well, and then just a little bit about the relegation situation, which took a turn, I suppose, a turn for the good if you support Spurs, and if you are a West Ham supporter, it's not so good. If you are a Gunners supporter, West Ham losing isn't great because now they're going to try and bounce back. But let's get straight into it. So anyone in the chat, if you have any questions, let us know. But I'm going to get straight in here and I'm going to hit up Jason. because obviously he said this was close to being one of the best weeks in his life. Taking you back to the weekend, obviously Arsenal played on Saturday, took care of business against Fulham. A very, I would say, very positive performance, especially the first half.
Yeah.
And then that was followed by Man City drawing against Everton 3-all. Everton took the lead. They were up 3-1. City fought their way back, and a fantastic goal from Doku at the end to secure a point for City. But however, these 2 points dropped. So with that context there being set up for you, Jason, we've got a game in hand on City, 5 points clear. How are you feeling with the next three to four games to go for each team?
Yeah, look, so we've got 3 left. They've actually got 4 left. So it is coming close. 5 points, it definitely does put it into our hands. I think going into that last corner kick, I thought these guys have defended well the whole game, literally just clear the ball, and then they just didn't close Doku down. And I mean, for him to score his third and his fourth goal for the season. I mean, good on him. It is only May. So that's not bad for a winger, I suppose. But yeah, it was near perfect, right? I think City did take the lead. Everton came back, and they could have been further ahead if they just. I think Di had a few chances. Tino Barry had a few chances, but ultimately, I'm more upset for Moisey, man. Maybe because that would have been his first win that he got against Pep, and now Pep's gonna leave probably. So that would have been a nice way to send him on his way, Thanks, 3 points, goodbye. But yeah, from an Arsenal perspective, I think it definitely swung. It was a weekend of um, a great momentum shift for us. And I did mention previously when we lost against City, I still felt there were going to be many upsets. And I knew City were going to
Yeah,
drop points. I didn't expect it to come this quickly. I
don't
kind of
lie,
pegged like
don't
a
lie, don't
Bournemouth.
lie. You
No, no,
messaged
no.
me on the day. You messaged me on the day, and you said we will be 5 points or 6 points clear after City play tonight. Those were
Shows
your
the
words. So
G.
own it,
Okay, we
own it,
exposed me now.
own it.
Absolutely exposed
This
for the
guy,
fraud that I am.
prophecy.
Yes, I did say that. But deep down, I kind of did feel like, okay, City might just turn up and just give them 4 quickly. And by all accounts, that first half looked like it was going to be just a one-sided affair. I think City did create a lot of chances, and when that first goal went in at half or just before halftime, I thought, ugh, what a good goal. What a time to score it, and this is going to be finished and done. But I mean, yeah, Everton still have something to fight for. So I'm glad that 3-3 happened. And yeah, it's a sign of the league in that it's not the worst season that people have pegged it to be
Yeah.
just because Arsenal's on top.
Yeah.
I think everybody stepped up. So yeah, let's
Just
see how it
Yeah.
goes from here
So
on.
on that, AF, you wanna go?
I just want to say something on what Jason just said about the Premier League. I read like a wild stat yesterday that technically Newcastle can still qualify for the Champions League, and technically they
Yeah.
can still be relegated.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
Mathematically.
mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on speaking of math, because City scored 3 goals, obviously, their goals four is at 69, so they scored 2 more goals than Arsenal. So if it does come down to that, they have the edge there. But Arsenal's ahead by 4 goals on goal difference because they won 3-0 and City drew. So that's something to keep an eye on. Obviously, as the title race goes down the stretch, and if I just want to bring it to you, obviously you all know that I'm a big Senegal fan, and Iliman Ndiaye obviously plays for Senegal. Um, a bit wasteful, obviously, but he's a talent, and I really like him. I enjoy the way he plays football. Talk to me how it was for you, obviously watching it as a neutral, but knowing mathematically also United can leapfrog City if they continue to drop points, and United keep winning because they're only 7 points behind at the moment. So
Yeah.
mathematically, there is a small chance that you could end up second.
Yeah, like I mean, I never ever thought of it that way. I was just like always focused on we need to get Champions League. We got it now, and whatever must happen for the rest of the season must happen. I thought about like just as a neutral, like watching the game in that first half. Like Jason said, City dominated everything. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everton were proper camped out. It was like they were sitting around a campfire over there telling stories.
Mm.
Like proper. At one point, I think they had like 8 at the back, as City were pressing, and that goal that came just before halftime, it was something that Everton didn't account for. It was Doku going to the right hand side and scoring with his left foot. So that like sort of took them by surprise. But I mean, this whatever Moisey said at halftime, jeepers. Like I think that they're gonna need more halftime talks like that from him for the rest of the season, and maybe they can qualify for Champions League as well.
Yeah, so Everton is in 10th position at the moment. They are not too far behind the teams above them. They are equal on points with Chelsea and 2 points behind Brighton. So there's a lot to play for, which does make the season quite interesting as you move towards the back end here. As far coming in strong with the comments, you can say literally whatever you want. After last night, you can even send a bottle to my joint. I'll drink from it for you because I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Riyaz, bringing you into the mix here. Obviously, we saw the uncharacteristic errors from Mark Gay, who has been phenomenal for Palace firstly this season, and since signing for Man City, he's been up there with one of their best players, giving them a sort of solidity at the back, a composure, and he's led that backline really well. So it was quite uncharacteristic to see that type of error from him yesterday. Any thoughts on where it went wrong for City?
Yeah, I think like you said, he's been one of the best signings, well, January signings anyway, and he's been one of the best defenders in the league this season, whether it is for Palace or for City. I think he's come in and solidified City. I think City were leaking before he came, and since he's come, City have been doing a lot better defensively. So I think it shows the characteristics and the kind of player that he is to come into such a good team from. No disrespect to Crystal Palace, but from Crystal Palace to come into the best team in the league and still play at such an unbelievable level is really good to see. So he's been really good. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I think that also when things aren't going your way, when calls don't go your way, it just things happen that way. Slides go like it just goes a certain way. When things start, when it rains, it pours, kind of a thing. Agreed. That's exactly where I'm going with this as far.
He's always on that route. You'll get there eventually.
It's the way it goes. Like, unfortunately, but yeah, it's unfortunate that it went that way, and I honestly think that it shouldn't have gone that way. But like we always say, I think that teams, they get the rub with the green, and then sometimes they don't get the rub with the green. It's unfortunate that at this time of the season, it seems like things are going Arsenal's way, whereas in a different season it would go Man City's way. So it's in that game as well. In last night's game, I think Arsenal were lucky with some of the decisions that were made by the refs, but that's football. We have to get used to it now, unfortunately. But yeah, coming back to the question, Kay, I think still he's one of the best defenders in the league, if not the best. So based on this season specifically, so he'll bounce back, no doubt. But unfortunately, at the time, he was put under pressure, and unfortunately, it cost him 2 points, which is going to be massive because it's probably cost him the league as well. But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So
can I just ask though on the?
Yeah.
Sorry, Zips, you talking about Mark Gay and you're talking about decisions and stuff. Maybe I'm not remembering the game. Which decision are we referring to that helped City or that disadvantaged City?
There was an offside, wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was an offside.
So I think the Gay error, Barry was offside when the ball was
okay.
But the law was pretty clear in if it comes off Gay, then it doesn't matter if the player was offside because it's not like he was receiving a pass from his own team. So from the refereeing perspective, I think it all played out okay. A lot of things popping in the chat there. No Champions League trophy for Arsenal. Yeah, we don't have the trophy, but we have a 50% chance of actually getting it because we are in the final. Yes, we could lose. I mean, you could lose, you could win, but at least we're in there with a 50% chance to win, unlike every other English team who has a 0% chance because they are eliminated or didn't qualify. So is what it is, guys.
I'm with Brad though. I like Brad's comment that I think it's very important that that is kind of fixed, because I think if we have to if we move forward with VAR and we're not going to be getting rid of it, then that is where the issue comes in. Is the people that are using it.
Yeah, but it's literally the same thing every week, man. Every week there's issues with it, the implementation of it. There's a lot of subjective things that go into it, so it's never going to be foolproof. And as you can see, obviously every opposition fan is going to think it's against them, and it's going to benefit the team above them, or whatever the case is. We've had this discussion quite a bit this season, where think something goes against you and then falls against your club, whatever his agendas and stuff. But it all evens out, and there's actually a pretty interesting article that runs on ESPN. They update it every week with the VAR decisions and if it was correct, if it wasn't correct, and they do kind of an adjusted table for those decisions. So if
who's
anyone is
on that table without VAR?
I don't know. I haven't checked it. I'm too busy looking at the real log.
Spurs are in that table. I'm just gonna let you know.
Hey, listen, whatever keeps you going, my man.
Thank you.
Just looking at
Sure.
yeah, of course. Just looking ahead quickly. Obviously, City play on Saturday. They are playing against Bournemouth, if I'm not mistaken. So that's
massive game.
no, Brentford. It's Brentford.
Brentford,
massive game.
So they play Brentford. It is a big game because Brentford are in 7th. A win for Brentford can take them up to 6th on the log, and that's well and truly in the European places. Obviously, City, if they win, they go 2 points behind Arsenal, and Arsenal only play on Sunday again. And then City play their game in hand the following midweek, which, if I'm not mistaken, is against Crystal Palace or Bournemouth. So Arsenal have West Ham the weekend, which is going to be tough after West Ham lost. And I think we can transition to the relegation thing here also in one go. But West Ham had a big loss this weekend, a difficult game for them, and they came out second best. That means they will be spurred on, and that's definitely pun intended, to really fight against Arsenal, because they are now in the drop zone, because Spurs are out of the drop zone. And like you mentioned earlier, Riyaz, they won back-to-back games. It took the Zerbi, 3 games? I saw, and obviously on social media, this is the type of narratives that we get. It took Amorim however long to win back-to-back, and it took the Zerbi 3. Doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who did it quicker, because at the end of the day, it's where your team ends, and United are 3rd, and Spurs are a point or 2 outside the relegation. So, with the West Ham loss, I think they're going to come out firing against Arsenal, which is going to test us. But Declan Rice gave an interview last night after the game, and he said he feels like the team turned a corner. So I do feel like I feel a bit confident and a bit upbeat going to that. But switching it now to Riyaz, putting all focus on you. Spurs win. They're out of the drop zone. If they win every game until the end of the season, they pretty much control their own destiny when it comes to the relegation battle. Only if they drop points does it matter. So do you feel a bit more positive about escaping here?
No. Simply no, I don't feel more positive about escaping. I told you I've accepted this in December, and I've still accepted it. I don't think it's a bit muted. As far as I'm not gonna lie, it's muted because I still unfortunately think we're going down, because I think that it's going to be Chelsea at the end of the day that destroy us, and it's going to be hard. So when that happens,
if you let them destroy
that
you,
scored one goal,
you actually need to go down. If you let Chelsea take you down, then
look at the history of the season, right? We let Wolves, who was on a losing streak, beat us. We let there was three different teams who were on a losing streak when they came to Spurs, and they beat us.
But you guys are playing under the Zerbi. It's
it's exciting football, man.
Yeah.
Players are the players, guys.
For the first time this season, I was a big fan of the Conor Gallagher signing for Spurs, and it didn't work out until the last game. I don't know what happened. I don't know what they told him. I don't know what they fed him. But that is the player I thought you were going to get when he signed in January. He's coming from Diego Simeone, and he was just completely flat up until that game. He hit the ground running. He came out firing. Spurs went up 2-0 very early on. And that is what you want to see from a guy like that who I think it's safe to say he's the guy on the top wages at Spurs at the moment. I think he's managed to negotiate the top contract. So that's what you want to see.
How that happened.
And I mean, I'm a big fan of Conor Gallagher. Think he's a really talented player. So if going forward, Spurs have leads up in their next game, do you think they can continue in their winning ways? Or because Leeds also are a tough challenge, they've been playing good football. What do you see for Spurs in their next game?
Yeah, no. So like with Leeds, they're not completely safe as well. So they're going to be taking this game on and thinking like, okay, now we need at least 1 point from this game. Like we can't lose this game. So even if we draw with it, we draw with Spurs, they'll take that. Like they basically just want to solidify the Premier League status for next year as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like I think that the way Spurs are playing at the moment, the last game showed me that like Spurs, the fact that De Zerbi just came in, that first game that he managed them, they looked good. They didn't win it, but they looked good. The second game, you could see their play was getting better. The patterns of play are getting better. The players are gelling much more than what they did under Thomas Frank and under that forgettable spell under Igor Tudor. But yeah, I think Spurs are just like they're a different team now, and I think that they should see Leeds off, but Leeds will put up a bit of a fight here.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the way Leeds are playing, so that will be interesting encounter. I think there'll be a lot of attacking. Both teams are gonna play, with intent and look to score. So it could be really interesting. Jason Thomas, my man, I'm loving your comments there. I see you really want Spurs to go down. I don't know where he has or what the championship. I think we've already decided that should Spurs get relegated, he's probably just gonna jump to a new team. I did put forward Ipswich Town, who just came up now because he can jump into the Ed Sheeran bandwagon if he wants to. He also loves Frank Lampard, if I'm not mistaken, so Coventry could be an option.
He loves Mason Mount, so I mean,
yeah, he's got himself some options. Kudus, I'm not in Budapest, but yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Yet.
It doesn't sound like a bad idea, but we've got a long way to go until we get there. Jason, your question, what's your thoughts of the teams coming up? Can you just give me a bit more context? Are you talking about a specific team's opposition?
Championship
so then
teams.
I can get.
So that's
Oh, okay,
Coventry.
coming up. To be honest, I don't know much about the teams. Coventry, Frank Lampard's done a brilliant job to bring them up, but I think he might be in the Scott Parker mold, where he's a very good championship manager. But I don't know if he's going to have enough to cut it in the Premier League. We'll have to wait and see. Ipswich, fantastic story, obviously with Ed Sheeran coming in to help the club, and they on the last day they secured that automatic qualification. And then we've got the playoffs. I don't know the 4 teams in the playoffs off the top of my head. All I know is that Wrexham didn't make it. They fell out on the last day. So Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney will have to stay in the championship another season. But we will bring you more on that topic later on as we get to the end of the season. So thanks for the questions. Enjoying it. Sadiq, I do see you, but ninth on the log is very low down to chat about. So I think I'm gonna just stick with more important topics, and you can go paint yourself blue or whatever you said you're doing. Jason,
are you a Smurf, Sadiq?
Sadiq is a Smurf, yeah, definitely. I must actually bring him. I'm gonna send him the streamer link. He can join us if he wants to. He's a legend, man. He's a legend. Jason, so just to wrap up the Spurs West Ham thing. So obviously AF gave us his input there with Spurs Leeds. Just switch to the West Ham angle here. At the end of this game week, do you see West Ham getting any points from Arsenal? Do you see them being stuck in the relegation zone? Are Spurs gonna be a couple more points ahead of them by the end of the weekend?
Yeah, so actually just before I get to that, I want to ask Ziyaad, I want to ask Riyaz a question. But actually maybe let me answer your one first. Yeah, I think Spurs will be a couple of points. Actually, I think it's going to stay exactly the same. I think Leeds might have something for Spurs just for the way that Leeds have been playing. They've been up for everything. It's going to be a very tricky game. I think the styles are kind of going to match each other because Leeds play a very expansive game of football. Spurs also playing that way now at the moment, so it's kind of going to be an interesting one. In terms of West Ham, look, if they won, maybe they would have been able to sit a bit deeper. They're going to have to come at us, so it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot more pressure from their side, and I know Nuno likes to cook up a nice mid block, which is something we haven't dealt with well. But I think it's going to be a professional performance. Hopefully, who are you supporting when it comes to Sunday? Supporting West Ham to beat Arsenal and stop us, or are you supporting us to beat West Ham to help you?
Why do I have to support either team?
What do you mean? Why? You have to support your own team. What kind of answer is that?
Exactly. I'll support my own team. I don't need to support West Ham or Arsenal. I can tell you what I think is going to happen.
It's simple. You have to support Arsenal so that West Ham don't get points. And you support your team so that your team gets points and then they're 4 points clear by the end of the weekend. That's the best case scenario for you.
I don't have to do anything. If I had to hope for something, if you put me in that situation, I would hope for a draw in that game and for us to obviously win.
Of course you would.
This is the thing that has gotten these clubs in trouble. They worry too much about the other
That's
stuff.
what I said.
Focus on your own club.
From me. That's exactly what I just said. I just said
no, but what benefits your club? A draw doesn't benefit your club.
It does benefit my club. What are you saying?
A loss benefits your club.
Either way,
West Ham must lose.
A draw or a loss, it doesn't make a difference to my club. We are going to draw this weekend and lose to Chelsea, and West Ham are going to win.
Okay. I see you in that timeline. You in that timeline.
The reverse psychology has started.
What do you mean? I'm accepting. This is not new.
This is not new, College of Professional.
I feel like I'm being race-baited here.
This is where the juju goes into overdrive. Last 3 games.
Yeah, bro. This is that New Orleans black magic.
It's going to be 3 or 4 easy.
It's interesting because Forest could also mathematically still go down. I just find, I think they are playing the best. I agree with you. And they played their second string team basically and still beat Chelsea 3-0. So
Chelsea played their £1 billion team.
The biggest positive I think for Forest is that they are scoring goals quickly and easily. Where in a title, in a relegation battle, for example, can you get goals? It's not so much about the clean sheets, but it's more about can you score. And of the teams there, I feel Forest have the best attack in terms of scoring. With West Ham, it's a lot on Bowen. Bowen has to do the heavy lifting. Spurs have shown that they can find goals, but again, the edge I think goes to Nottingham Forest because the attack is just a bit more potent. So that's it. We'll keep obviously coming back to these things as we go along. But moving on into the middle of the table here, and bring back Maresca is a brilliant point. But when you look at the log,
this is where you must comment now.
Now you allow.
This is where I need more input from you and Asfar.
Is it my connection or is Jason freezing?
No, it's Jason.
Okay.
Everything else.
Jason is struggling because there's a big gap from where he is and where Chelsea is, man. So it's taking long for the sound to travel all the way down. But let's hear the comments if you guys want to weigh in on that. But it's just worth looking at the log. There's a lot of teams that can still qualify for Europe. We've obviously got, like AF said, mathematically, Newcastle can still make a push. Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Chelsea. The thing that is troubling for Chelsea is obviously the financial implications of missing out on the Champions League because their books are in a perilous situation whereby they, in their predictions, they assumed they would be playing in the Champions League. So if they aren't, there's going to be some big issues financially for them that they'll need to do to kind of balance the books and get things right there. So that is a bit of a challenge for them. However, on a positive note, I think they did have the goal of the weekend, João Pedro's bicycle. I thought that was a highlight for the weekend. Also, I had him in my FPL, so I'm not too upset about that. I know AF wanted to do a Chelsea and Liverpool preview, but with the state of the two teams, I thought let's not focus too much on that. But just to touch on it, I think I'm going to bring AF in here. Chelsea, Liverpool, both teams coming off a loss. Chelsea seem to be in a bit of a slump more than Liverpool. Liverpool have tons of injuries, especially to the attack. So Chelsea, Liverpool, what do you see happening in that game? Any thoughts?
Um, I think that Liverpool should win that game easily. In all honesty, I don't think that Chelsea is filling any of the fans with optimism at the moment. I think the hierarchy is like there's this like really dark, gloomy cloud over the club, and the fans are feeling it as well. The players are probably feeling it too. Like Cole Palmer missing penalties, like that's not the first penalty he's missed this season, and he just looked like he didn't even want to take it in the first place. Um, so I just think that they can't wait for the season to be done. They'll probably go try to. I think it was Ben Jacobs that reported Iraola, Marco Silva, and Xavi are the three managers in line to be the manager next season at Chelsea. I know that Iraola said that he wanted Chelsea. That was one of the clubs that were his favorite destinations. So I can see him going there and absolutely revolutionizing that team. But that's granted, Bluco and the hierarchy don't stick their fingers in and all of those things. But okay, I digress. Okay, moving on
Yeah,
to
that's
Liverpool, I think that like with Liverpool, they are playing a good brand of football. I don't understand like how a lot of their fans are like going against that. The last
Mm.
3 weeks or the last three games that Liverpool have been playing, their football hasn't been bad. They've been unlucky with calls, they've been unlucky with injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, and I mean Dominic Szoboszlai, he pulls something out of nothing every single time.
Yeah.
He's literally been the MVP this season, and I think he will probably be the main spotlight player over the weekend.
Yeah, I think they're making the best of the opportunities they have for the players they have available. It's a bit tough to be too harsh on them. They are in fourth position. I don't think they're at threat of missing out on the Champions League, so they do have a bit of freedom to try a couple of things, down the stretch here. Um, so then they obviously got Chelsea next, so it could be interesting. But Villa also dropping points, so they seem to be also not struggling a bit, but it's just been up and down from all those teams, 4, 5, 6, and we are in a position where a team like Bournemouth could easily leapfrog Villa into fifth. Riyaz, do you see Villa
Yeah.
holding on to fifth, or do you see a surprise run in from a Bournemouth, Brentford, or even a Brighton for that matter?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I mean, it's already close, but 6 points is maybe a bit too much with 3 games to play.
Yeah.
I would love something to happen, but especially from Bournemouth, I think they really deserve it. But yeah, I just think that 6 points in 3 games is a bit too much to kind of. Plus, Bournemouth have to play City, so that's going to be very difficult for them. Judging on what Villa did this week, and obviously against the relegation team, they obviously played really badly. But they're resting, of course, people for Thursday and things like that.
Yeah.
Beat Forest because they lost. I mean, the Forest also beat them on Thursday in that Europa. So
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. I just think that they should be safe. 6 points at the stage of the season is a bit too much.
Now, fair play, and I think you bring up a great point, which has made things quite interesting in this period, that teams are prioritizing different things at this point. So we saw Forest pretty much field a B team to some degree. We saw, Aston Villa also thinking about your Europa, like as far as saying in the chat. We also saw Crystal Palace doing something a bit different, focusing on the Conference League, because that's going to guarantee them, if they do win it, guarantee them a spot in Europe for next season as well. So we're in a interesting situation where we saw with Spurs last year, even though the league was bad, United as well. Either of them could have won that trophy, and then it takes them into the Champions League. We saw it happen for Spurs. It didn't have a great effect on them overall, and United came out the better of that situation. We now see Nottingham Forest in that position as well, right? They're sitting there. I think they'll be safe from relegation, but they've been in the battle, and they're also one win away from being in the Europa League final. and we could see them in the Champions League next season. Who would have thought that this was their route in? We now also have um, Villa who are in the mix there. If they win the Europa and in the Champions League and they qualify through the league, I don't know what happens. There's stuff that happens with that. Other teams get to come up, whatever the case is. And then we also have Crystal Palace in the Conference League. If they make the final and they win the final, they then qualify for the Europa League directly. So
Yeah.
that does open up spots for other teams who are maybe sitting in seventh or eighth to come up into a league or a spot in Europe that they weren't expecting to. So that's Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea in ninth, Everton in 10th. And you could say Fulham maybe, but I think I would stop at Everton probably for teams who have a
Agreed.
possibility. So the league is very interesting. Some people have the belief that it's not as strong. Some people have the belief that it's weak. Some people see it as being competitive. I personally think that if teams have something to play for, there's competition. We've seen other leagues. I mean, let's pivot and I'll bring Jason in here. We've seen PSG and Bayern, even Atletico for that matter. Atletico rested all 11 of their players the weekend in La Liga. PSG rested most of their players in League E, and Bayern Munich also rested a lot of players. So when you are playing in a league that's easier, I mean, Bayern wrapped up the league a few weeks ago. You can keep your
Yeah.
players fresh for important runs. So, Jason, what are your thoughts on the Premier League as a whole? Are you enjoying all the different narratives and things that people are playing for, or do you feel it's weak?
Yeah, so obviously, I mean, firstly, I hope everybody can hear me. Sorry about the sound issues. But yeah, I think that the quality of the league has grown due to the increase in revenue and clubs, the smaller clubs being able to buy better quality players and the increase in quality in managers and things of that nature. I think PSG get the rub of the green. Their league will literally postpone a game so that they can prepare for, and that's if you own the league, that's what you can do. I mean, we were probably a few hours away from City getting their fixtures moved around, and that's because City are able to do that. So yeah, that sort of thing, it does play in. When you look at a team like Forest resting against Chelsea, where ordinarily they'd have to play the full strength team, their sights are set in Europe. So let's see how they change, and they made so many changes. So yeah, I think the quality of the league has improved, and that's relevant to the sort of discussions we have about European competitions, but then also just the strength of the Premier League, where a middle table team can come to the top team and win, or a bottom of the table team can get their first win or even their first points. Because I mean, Wolves took points of Arsenal, and that was at Molyneux. So it could happen to anybody. I think they went to United as well. They might there. After you guys went there, I think Wolves came to you and it was a draw or like something like that. So I think it was something similar to that. So it's like really shows the quality of the league and things of that nature. So yeah, I think it's definitely increased, and I don't think we can look at it as like a two-team race. I think it's not been that for a while now. Maybe it's a three-team,
Okay,
but
let's
even the
let's uh, let's stay in Europe quickly. PSG or Bayern to go through tonight, Jason?
I think Bayern.
Okay, AF?
I'm going to go with PSG. I think that they just have more attacking intent.
Riyaz?
I have a head and heart situation, so I'm going to go with my heart and I'll go Bayern.
Because of Harry Kane.
This so philosophical.
Thank
Let us know in the chat who you
Is
see
it
going
because of
through.
Harry Kane, or is it you like Vincent Company?
Both.
So
Okay, fair play.
we got Asfar with Bayern, we've got Mo with PSG. Sadiq is saying Bayern's gonna win tonight. 4-2. Interesting. Let's see how close we get to that. For me personally, I'd like Bayern to go through because my colleague at work, he supports Bayern, so it'd be nice to have that.
Have a happy office.
As a final. So, where either one of us could win it would be fun. PSG are strong, like AF said, and then Bukayo Saka in his interview yesterday, he did say he's going to follow his media training, but he also alluded to the fact that they would like PSG to come through kind of as a rematch for last season's, if you want to lean into that narrative. There is that floating out there. So
Didn't he say deep down everybody knows what we want?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking this is actually interesting. I mean, this is
It
all of
was
the
a good
past
line.
trauma coming up. There's
Yeah.
all of the past trauma because Bayern slapped us. And he was a youngster growing up. Maybe he wants to rectify the
No, but I think
10-2s and
they've already taken care of that because they did beat Bayern early on in the season.
Yeah.
I think it was either
yeah,
this season they beat him 3-0 or something. So I think that monkey off the back. It's more, I think, the
yeah, okay.
PSG semi-final, and then a rematch there, which is fun. I think either way,
I think
it would be quite interesting. Now, as far as Saka talks too much,
I think
if it,
Aspar just hates Saka with like this, like he went to
no,
school and Saka used to make him the
Jason,
whole time, and now he just, I
it's
don't know. I've
obviously
never heard
because
somebody speak so badly about somebody who is basically,
now, but listen
it's the
here, bro.
story everybody wants. An
Look here,
academy graduate
just
the
relax. Pull
team.
a handbrake up, Lama Bichi.
And
He is
look,
he is the
they
captain of
asked
the
what
team, so they
England
put a
will
mic
release
in
that.
front of him.
I'm never gonna put it up.
That's why he's talking. He's because he's the captain. They put him in interviews. Plus, we played a semi-final and we played a quarter-final, and he scores. So when you score, you talk, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
everyone talks. I mean, Salah's been
Yeah.
talking a whole week. Even Gerard with this person, with that person. Salah's been doing tons of interviews. Virgil's been talking. Everyone's talking. That's what people do nowadays. They talk. That's what we're doing. We talk because everyone's got a mic on them. Everyone's on a podcast.
Yeah,
So
plus Saka hasn't been around, so since he's around,
yeah.
he must talk.
Yeah,
Did you
man.
guys
Now
see
everyone's
the
just talking about comparing. I'm not comparing to anyone, man. Just relax. I'm just saying everyone talks, okay? And
did
that's the end,
you guys
end
see
of
the Ian Wright eating Nando's with the bottle, with the Saka bottle,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then he turns it. He knows
Yeah,
what he's doing. Playing
He
he's
knows
fun.
what he's
But
doing.
as before this thing gets chaotic now because people are going on tangents here. I think I've said this multiple times. I don't think Salah is better than. I mean, I don't think Salah is comparable. Salah is in his own tier. He's one of the greatest players to ever play in the Premier League. I've said this. It's almost like this man. I have like selective memory. Every week I must say the same thing. Um, Salah is, I mean, even Steven Gerrard said himself, Salah's probably up there and higher than him to some degree, in his opinion. So Salah is in his own tier, guys. He can't be
Yeah.
compared to anyone that plays for Arsenal. And it's a fact. He's done more than we've done. And by the end of it, maybe we can see where our players end up. But until then,
Yeah.
Salah,
That's
listen,
when you have
can
nothing
we
else to do, and you have to bring it
correct? Yeah.
back to Chelsea. Yeah,
So
Ray.
we actually need to bring it back to the most important topic of this episode. I know I have made the picture or the whatever you call it thumbnail about Arsenal and Pep and Arteta, but those are two managers who've been there for a while now, man. So let's pivot here and let's talk about the team who won qualification to the Champions League. They did it, Arsenal.
The team that
They
won the league
secured
in January.
They secured qualification to the Champions League. They are currently the league leaders if you only count the matches that Carrick managed. So, Ayef, I'm setting you up here with a massive question, but how are you feeling about Michael Carrick long term? Are you for
Mm.
or against? Do you want to explore other options? Are you in a situationship? Are you ready to get down on one knee and put a ring on? Talk to me, my man.
Nah, I'm carrying in. I think that's like the bottom line for me. Like what he's done. Like yes, when Ruben left, we were in fifth position. It wasn't like we were in 10th or something like that, like somewhere mid table.
17th
Sorry?
or 17th.
Or 17th. Yeah, so like the fact that we were in fifth, like the work still needed to be done. He still needed to galvanize his team. He still needed to try to get everybody back on side, play forward the back again, get everybody to like enjoy playing their football again. And then the easiest thing that he did was move Bruno Fernandes back to his number 10 spot. And I think that's been his the best thing that he's done, because it saved everything for him, and it's basically put him in contention for this permanent job. And I'm open to other opinions for other managers, but I mean, it seems like all the players respect Michael Carrick. I mean, he played in central midfield for United. A lot of central midfielders gone to make good managers. So I just think that a lot of the players, they respect him, they respect what he's been doing, and apparently he's a very good man manager. He goes to the players, takes them one side, basically tries to improve their game, not just like doing this whole universal thing. Okay, this is what we all have to do. It's just like, okay, let's see how I can better this guy, and then take it from there. So yeah, Carrick in. But if anybody has any other shouts, I know Kudu's in the chat. I don't know what his views are, but yeah, Carrick in.
Yeah, I see Riyaz giggling at the comments, and I'll get to that.
I'm giving
And
it
I think
Jason.
Kudus is
I wanted
Ferguson
to
in, man.
listen. I wanted to actually talk about this. You guys are talking about Alex Ferguson. The poor man was rushed to hospital just with the thought that United could qualify for the Champions League. He had heart palpitations, and he had to be rushed to
Yeah.
the hospital. He's doing okay though, so you don't have to worry about the big man. But yeah, Alex Ferguson. Interesting point you make, AF, and I think for me, I'm more interested in the process they're going to follow, because I think Carrick has done well. He's come in, he's read the situation well. The concern, if you are looking at it from, and I mean, for those that don't know, in my background, I've been in a position to hire coaches and be part of processes like this. And the thing that you have to understand is, with the success that he's having, do you make him reapply for the job? Do you make him interview again? And what effect does that have on the group, knowing that he has to reapply for it, for example? Or do you interview other people and then still stick with him? Because then does it give that feeling to the players that we tried, we looked around, but we couldn't find anyone that's better than him, so we're sticking with him. You know, it's all about keeping the players. Like I say, he's a good man manager, but can you keep the dressing room intact? And before I throw it over to you, Riyaz, because I want to get your opinion before Jason. For me, one of the biggest things is I want to identify who I'm going to have at the club next season. So if I'm going to build a team around Bruno Fernandes, I think Matheus Cunha is probably someone that you want to make as part of the spine of that team. You've got Toby Mino in midfield. You're going to lose Casemiro. So which of that central defenders are you going to lean on for experience? And then work with that group to see, do they feel that they can achieve more under Carrick, or has he taken them as far as he can, or should they go with another manager? And I'm not saying that they should decide, but they should have some sort of input, because they can give a feeling of what the dressing room is thinking and feeling like. So, Riyaz, your thoughts on the United managerial situation?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, he's done really well, right? That's the first thing I'll say. In terms of if he stays, I think that you have to think about it as, if there's a better person for the job, then they have to be interviewed. Unfortunately, and I don't mean better as in Oliver Glasner or Andoni Iraola. I don't mean that kind of better. I mean like Luis Enrique, Carlo Ancelotti, that kind of manager, Tuchel, like that kind of manager.
Yeah.
I think then they have to consider it. Otherwise, I think that it's fine for. Yes, Carrick is a product of Tottenham. Thank you for that, Aswar.
No, wasn't he West Ham?
Yeah, isn't he West Ham, man?
West Ham, Tottenham, United.
Yeah, but I think the biggest issue with Carrick is that for what we've seen with, there's a couple of issues. Number one is that I think that there could be there's a kind of a danger in an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer syndrome, where the same thing that happened to Ole will happen to Carrick. Where as soon as they start using games, they'll all kind of they're down tools. The good thing, the positive about that is that they don't have the same characters in the dressing room. The characters are better in the dressing room now, so I think it will go better this time around. So I think that's a bit safer. And the second issue is that I don't think personally, so far from what I've seen watching United, I don't think that how they play sustainable. I think they get out of jail a lot. I think that when they go up, they defend. They don't want the ball anymore, and I think that is a big problem when over a 38-game season. So while it will work a lot of the time, I just think that when you're going for things like league titles, it's going to be a bit more difficult to take that next step, because those two things are my biggest issue. But I think he's done really well to at least warrant kind of opportunity to take over for full time next season for sure.
Yeah, and if you look at all the reports, he came in understanding it was interim, and it might just be the perfect interim job, a bridge to the next. I remember to bring, just to keep Sadiq in the chat, to bring Roberto Di Matteo back in here, and Chelsea. He did a job with Chelsea, and he didn't keep the job because, it was just the interim thing. He won. I think he won the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken.
He won the Champions League, yeah.
And the next season he was so. The challenge that, before I give to Jason, I'll just set him up here. But the challenge I think United find themselves in is we've got the World Cup. So after the World Cup, there are going to be a number of managers who are going to hit free agency per se, right? If Germany have a bad World Cup, you could find their coach being available. There's talk that Ancelotti is going to sign an extension with Brazil, but you know how quickly things change. You get embarrassed, suddenly Ancelotti is available. We're looking at the likes of, we mentioned already, Areola. There's talk about Marco Silva leaving Fulham at the end of the season. There's Glasner. Do you pivot from Carrick to that? Those are options. There's going to be a lot of options at the end of the season, which makes things very interesting. The problem is, can you wait till after the World Cup? Because then that coach doesn't get the preseason. That coach doesn't get the say in which players he wants at the club. So this is going to be one of those sliding doors moments where whatever they decide, we might look back at it in a year and be like, my word, they should have actually done something opposite, or whatever the case is. As for a good point, Poch might also be available. There might be a lot of options. So it's very interesting. I think it's very hard to say what's right and what's wrong. But all I'm hoping for their, to benefit the process, is know what you want early and then go for it. So if you know it's going to be Carrick, or if you feel Carrick is the man, just do it now. Don't wait. Make the announcement now. Give everyone the confidence, and then stick with the guy if it's a year plus one, whatever the deal is. But if you are going to interview and then you put it out now already and say, at the end of the season, we're taking applications. Carrick will reapply, and be very clear so everyone kind of ends the season knowing which direction they are going. And Jason, I hope I left something for you to discuss in relation to the managerial.
Yeah, let's go. AF did raise his hand.
Oh, was that? I thought he was just waving at Sadiq, because he's been pointing and waving at Sadiq for the past 20 minutes.
No, I raised my hand. Earlier, I was pointing because you asked which team he has to support, and I pointed at United. Anyways, just on that, yesterday or the day before, Laurie Whitwell from the Athletic, he reported that Michael Carrick has now started planning with Jason Wilcox for next season already. So I think that should be like an indirect thing, like indirectly telling us, okay, that Carrick might be the manager, because, if you're already planning for your squad with this guy and he's not going to be the manager, then that's a bit weird. But it could be something, it could be nothing.
Yeah. Jason, tell us how the Rani household is feeling. I know you speak for half of your heart is Man United, so let us know.
Yeah, look, at the moment it's all good vibes, isn't it? Everything's going good. Everything's nice. I think what you're saying,
another honeymoon.
What you're saying at the moment is true, though. Like, if you are gonna make the decision, make it and stick to it. Don't be lured in by the fact that other coaches could be. If you think what Carrick has done is enough to get you further success in that next season, then rather do that. There's also the sort of elephant in the room that we can't avoid, is the fact that they're only playing 40 games this season. He's had the easiest intro into coaching a team like United. So whilst it's fun and you get to play the same 11 every time, what happens if the strength in depth isn't what he wants? If the strength in depth isn't what United need? You're now playing in you're obviously going to be If you're playing Champions League, that's an extra 8 games already. You're not going to be in the first round playing against Grimsby, so you've already got the bye. So that means more games are coming in the thick of it. What is shown is exactly what you want from that interim manager. I think if they were still in other competitions, they probably would have had a good run because the vibes are so high.
Yeah.
But if what AF is saying is true and they are planning for the future with Carrick, then stick to it, my bro. And be okay to ride the wave. I think AF has been the most consistent about it in that he understands that this is a roller coaster ride. Now, it gets to a point where it's either stick or twist. And unfortunately, United have twisted and they've fumbled about and they've done that. But I agree with your point that if you are going to get a new coach and you're going to wait for after the World Cup, you're setting yourself up very much for failure because they're not going to have a good preseason. Rather, let Carrick work, prepare. You have an idea of how many games you'll play. You'll have an idea of who's leaving, who's staying. Obviously, Casemiro being the big cog in this last bit. But maybe it's also like when you're serving out notice period, then suddenly you're willing to do everything. You prepared to work late, you prepared because you know you're going to leave. So it could be something
Sounds
of
like
that
a man
nature.
who's put a resignation or two in his
Yo,
in his
my
time.
friend, if you ever hear that I can't make the podcast because I'm working late, let that alarm bell ring in your head. But yeah, I would say that what they've shown now is good form. You take it with a pinch of salt because they haven't played many games, but
Yeah.
stick with him. He looks like he has that Ole factor with a bit more technical and tactical ability to input into the team. Where Oli was more just a good vibes guy, and maybe his system was set to counterattack. I think Carrick can maybe coach a better technical setup. Maybe I'm completely off the mark. Maybe AF can say something more to what I'm saying, but that's just the way that I see it. But yeah, hopefully don't get thrown into a Chelsea type situation where you just buy a bucket load of players and they don't fit the system, and then you change the manager and you sit with all of that.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think to put a bow on it, essentially, if you are gonna go with Carrick, then go with him now. I think give everyone the confidence to know that he's
Yeah.
earned the job, because I'm sure you'll get a big statement of confidence from a guy like
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, who's their talisman, their captain, their leader, their best player. If he comes out and says, "I'm happy to hear that we're gonna carry on with Carrick," if that's how he feels, this could be perfect for the team to transition. They are going to lose some experience, and we're not gonna dissect what they need to do with their team and stuff. But I think they have some interesting players they can build around. I don't see why they need a new keeper. I think their keeper's pretty good. And I think he's going to go from strength to strength. I've been really impressed
Yeah.
with the way he's handled himself in a lot of the games that I've seen. He's very calm and composed. He reminds me a bit of Bernd Leno in just his demeanor, right? And again, I'm
Yeah.
not comparing how good one is versus the other, just his presence, right? There's a presence about him that is very calming, which is very different to what United have had in recent times. So there's some interesting pieces there, and yeah, let's see what United decide to do. Riyaz, my man, if you look at the clock at the top, it says 59:28, and that's how you time a show. We have now come to the end.
Actually, you're gonna go over. You're gonna go over.
Yeah,
So technically, you're gonna go over. It's not timed well. Over hour is not timed well. Under an
Hey,
hour.
listen, I can press end stream now, and we can just say bye quickly. But I know it's bad for the algorithm if we do that. And I want people to know where they can find you, man. But that brings us to an end, guys. Thank you all. It's been a fun chat. I love that the live chat was buzzing. Sadiq, thank you for coming always. You don't always add value with your football comments, but you do add value to the chat by keeping everyone going. And we acknowledge you, as you like to say. Kudus, it was nice to see you also a bit vocal. I don't know what it is about today that got you, up and about. Maybe you are waiting for the ribs, but we like seeing you busy there in the chat. Asfar, Mo, Mads, wherever you are, thanks for pulling in. We did miss Ramiz and Yasin, guys. We can see you not here, so a shout out for you guys. The regulars of the channel. So thank you all for being here.
Where's SPO? Where's SPO U95_37?
Jason has receipts. He's waiting here. Jason is waiting.
I want to find him.
On that note, before Jason gets too excited, there isn't anything interesting coming up on your side. Obviously, we've got the football, but anything else on the agenda for you? And as always, where can the people engage with you?
Yeah, so obviously as far as not too happy the fact that I support Sundowns, I will say I supported Sundowns a long time before. As soon as Santos got relegated, then I had to find the other team, and the next team with the S was Sundowns.
Didn't you play for Sundowns?
Hey?
Didn't you play for
No,
Sundowns?
no, no.
Santos.
Santos, yeah.
Okay.
But surprisingly, I only have Sundowns jersey and not any Santos, so maybe there's a hidden message in that. Yeah, probably there's a few golf tournaments coming up, so I'm gonna be locked in on that. I know we have the PGA Championship coming up soon. I'm traveling a bit, not to Budapest.
That's what you
Can
say
maybe
now.
get me maybe you can get me a legit ticket and not a Bombay ticket. I must go watch a game at 50 scroll. So yeah, I will probably be just keeping all my nerves and energy for that. But same old at Jason underscore Ronnie. But don't follow me this week because I'm actually just retweeting a whole lot of stuff. So
that's what it does every week.
Follow me next week rather.
Look, we'll chat a bit about the golf tomorrow. But AF, bringing it back to you. Hopefully, you get well soon. And you did some interesting things over the weekend at Comic Con. Loved it. Can you just tell everyone about that so they know where to go follow you and support you?
Yeah, just pop onto my YouTube channel. That's Geeky AF. If you're a fan of One Piece on Netflix, a lot of panels from them. Did an interview with Callum Kerr, the guy who plays Smoker in the show. So that will be on Agents of Fandom probably sometime this week also. But yeah, other than that, I'm at AF Parker 642 everywhere else. And Ramiz joined, guys. Better late than never.
At the
late
end.
running to the box here. Super
Maybe
sound.
he thought Riyaz was hosting and we had like 30 minutes left still.
That's time.
Sorry, Ramiz, man. I'm busy wrapping up here. Riyaz, anything you want to add as we head off into the weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You can follow me if you really want to at Parker_Riyaz on Twitter. I don't tweet much. I just look at Jason's tweets once in a while.
He's a lurker, man. He's a social media lurker. He just sits there and watches to see what everyone's doing. So yeah, that brings us to an end. Thank you guys. Just for me to plug a few things. Obviously keeping the channel going. I'm doing all the social media, updating the news headlines we've got. Obviously, whatever happens in the Champions League, we'll have some reports on that tomorrow. We've got the NBA playoffs that's boosting. Jason wants to add something?
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one. Obviously, teams are out. No Ashraf Hakimi for this evening. So that's going to be one to watch. Going Zaire Emery at right back. So Luis Diaz against Zaire Emery. That's going to be an interesting one. That's to catch your word. I just thought people want to know that.
No, you listen. You give the people what they want, man. That's why you're a legend. Yeah, we've got that. As far before you go, just quickly, we do have a cricket show coming tomorrow. We're teaming up with Cricket Fanatics magazine, Khalid Moidin. We're going to be doing a cricket show tomorrow just on the state of cricket in SA, just looking at a couple of things, how the Proteas players are doing in the IPL. We're going to look at some of the things about the SAA tour to England, and then a little bit about the Western Province news. So if you're into cricket, come check out that show tomorrow. It should be a good one. Khalid's an amazing guest. He was on here last week, and obviously he's one of the top guys in the cricket space. And then yeah, baseball, golf, everything, whatever you want, come check it out on Sportycast, and that's where you can find us. And you can find me at Ziyaad Parker 7. Also currently retweeting all the Arsenal content, but tomorrow I'll be back into the golf. So if you're interested, join us then. See you, and I'm out. Bye bye.